Hello, you're joining us again in the daily bulletin of Into Vietnam, only here on VITV channel. It's Monday, July the 14th, and here are the headlines. Most local banks will be listed in 2015. International experts say Vietnam's economic growth is still below potentials. And nearly 6,000 apartments are sold in Ho Chi Minh City in the first half. The majority of banks in Vietnam are stepping up efforts and plans for their listing on the local stock exchanges by 2015. Representative of the Ho Chi Minh City Stock Exchange said more than 20 commercial banks operational in Vietnam have become public companies or having their stakes held by at least 100 investors. Some of these have been listed on the Ho Chi Minh City and Hanoi stock exchanges, while others are considering their merging and acquisition activities. But all in all, they will be listed by 2015 as regulated by the central bank. So far this year, the State Bank of Vietnam has received 24 out of 25 restructuring plans from banks and has approved 18 of them. 8 out of 11 non-bank credit institutions were approved to overhaul. It's expected by the end of the year, policy rates will not be reduced further, as direction of the State Bank of Vietnam is to reinforce the value of the dong. The State Bank of Vietnam said from the beginning of the year, when the annual inflation development was still unknown, the targets were set to reduce the interest rate cautiously, reduced from 0.5 to 1% per year. So far, over 6 months, that target has been completed. According to VietNam, in the second half of 2014, the market still expects that interest rate will continue to decline, as inflation could likely to be kept at low level. On the policy, interest rates are expected to not drop any further. In the last few months, lending interest rate will continue to fall for good consumers and old debts, as banks have reduced the lag balance between input and output interest rates. In the first 6 months of 2014, Vietnam's macroeconomy continued to improve, with inflation falling, external accounts improved, and the foreign exchange market stabilized. It shows that Vietnam's economy has recovered gradually. However, international economic experts said its performance was still under its potential. More in the following report.
In the first half of this year, Vietnam's gross domestic product increased by 5.18% compared with the same period in 2013. It was the service sector's growth that contributed the most to the total increase, with a rise of 6.01%, following other industry and construction sector with 5.33%, the agricultural, forestry and fisheries with 2.96%, though the third one is set to continue to face difficulties. Evaluating these indicators, a representative from the Asian Development Bank (ADB) in Vietnam said that the country's economy has officially exited the bottom of the crisis, with many economic indicators showing signs of gradual recovery.
Tăng trưởng GDP 6 tháng đầu năm nay là gần 5,2%, cao hơn so với cùng kỳ năm ngoái. Kết quả này có được là do sự tăng trưởng trong ngành nông nghiệp và ngành sản xuất chế biến. Đây là một tín hiệu khả quan. Lĩnh vực thương mại cũng ghi nhận kết quả tích cực. Trên cơ sở đó, chúng ta có thể nói rằng kinh tế Việt Nam đã chạm đáy và đang có những bước phục hồi.
Agreeing with this view, an updated report on Vietnam's economic development issued by the World Bank on July the 8th also indicated that the country's economy continued to stabilize. However, it said economic growth remained modest and continued below its potential.
Tăng trưởng trong quý 2 của Việt Nam chỉ đạt 5,25%, nhưng World Bank dự báo cả năm sẽ ở mức 5,4%. Mức tăng trưởng này sẽ duy trì tới năm 2016 và không tăng quá 5,6%. Tuy nhiên, tiềm năng của Việt Nam có thể tăng trưởng ở mức 6, thậm chí là 7 đến 8%. Lý do chính khiến mức tăng trưởng của Việt Nam thấp hơn tiềm năng là do lực cầu trong nước yếu, niềm tin nhà đầu tư trong nước vẫn còn rất thấp. Trong khi đó, chính phủ cũng không thể kích cầu do chi tiêu công đã đến giới hạn.
In its updated economic report for the Asia-Pacific announced on July the 8th, the ANZ Bank kept its growth forecast of 5.6% for Vietnam for 2014 and 5.8% for 2013, saying that the economy is improving steadily but at a slower rate. Meanwhile, in a report on Vietnam's market outlook announced on July 2nd, HSBC experts said Vietnam's economy will grow stronger in the second half of 2014 thanks to exports and manufacturing activities. Experts confirmed, although the immediate outlook may be favorable, but there are still risks to Vietnam's economic growth in the long term.
Sự chậm trễ về tiến độ cải cách hệ thống ngân hàng và doanh nghiệp nhà nước có thể kéo dài giai đoạn tăng trưởng dưới mức tiềm năng và tạo ra những động thái ngày càng bất lợi, có thể dẫn đến nghĩa vụ nợ dự phòng lớn trong khu vực công, khiến cho nợ công tăng đến các mức không còn bền vững. Tỷ lệ nợ trên vốn của các doanh nghiệp nhà nước và tỷ lệ nợ xấu tại các ngân hàng thương mại còn cao, dư địa tài khóa bị thu hẹp.
In particular, in 2014, the conflict between Vietnam and China over the state sovereignties escalated, threatening the economic cooperation between the two countries. The prolonged territorial disputes in the region exacerbate downside risks.
Chúng tôi cho rằng Trung Quốc vẫn sẽ là đối tác thương mại quan trọng của Việt Nam, nhưng cơ cấu thương mại giữa hai nước cần phải được cân bằng, đặc biệt là giảm thiểu sự phụ thuộc của Việt Nam trong việc nhập khẩu nguyên liệu để sản xuất phục vụ xuất khẩu từ Trung Quốc. Đây chính là điểm yếu lớn nhất của Việt Nam trong mối quan hệ thương mại này. Do vậy, Việt Nam cần khẩn trương và nỗ lực hơn nữa để đa dạng hóa các đối tác thương mại, đồng thời phát triển chuỗi cung ứng nội địa.
The experts confirmed that Vietnam's economy is facing many challenges in competitiveness. So to restore medium long-term growth potential requires the promotion of structural reforms, that is to focus on the restructuring of state-owned enterprises and the banking sector, and to remove barriers to private investment in the country.
Coming up next in the news is noted information from Ho Chi Minh City.
According to CB Recharge Elite Vietnam's report, realty firms in Ho Chi Minh City sold 3,210 apartments in the second quarter, a year-on-year jump by 140%, taking the total apartment sales in the year's first half to nearly 6,000 units. The Property Research and Management Service Company said the condos sold in the second quarter belong to 11 projects of high-class, mid-end, and low-cost housing segments. In the first quarter, 2,600 apartments were successfully traded as reported by CBRE in April. CBRE said the fact that home buyers now can mortgage their houses they will owe later at banks has encouraged investors to continue their slower than expected projects. Offered price of apartments in the city are now more affordable than the previous years. Particularly, prices in many low-cost apartment projects have now slid to less than 15 million dong per square meter, a level which allows home buyers in these projects to borrow from the 30 trillion dong credit package.
The retail market in Ho Chi Minh City is getting set for major realignments as many of the world's leading retailers in the food, beverage and fashion industries formulate expansion plans to set up shops. In early July, Singapore's Mapletree Group announced it is expanding its presence in the city. Other international giants including Starbucks, MOF, Bread Talk, Thai Express, Pepper Lunch, Sabuya and Ayan Mall are also lining up, putting the final touches on the negotiations to begin operation in the shopping center in the near future. In the Ho Chi Minh City third quarter 2014 real estate report, CBRE Vietnam predicted the landing of international retail brands in the city would be strong in the future. The leading indicator of the growth came in the Nelson survey in the first quarter of this year. The confidence index of Vietnamese consumers was higher than the global average. According to the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, Vietnam's natural rubber has been exported to more than 70 markets in the world, and Vietnam is now ranking the third in terms of rubber exports, with a volume of 949,000 tons. In 2013 alone, Vietnam's rubber export ranked the fourth in the global market, with $2.52 billion. However, due to the fierce competition among exporters and high inventories in the domestic market, the export prices and volume of Vietnamese rubber have dropped significantly. In the first 5 months of 2014, the export price decreased sharply to $1,842 per ton, down 22.1% on year. In order to raise the competitiveness of Vietnamese rubber, it's necessary to restructure this sector by building strategy and solutions to boost the added values and rubber processing activities. According to the Vietnam World, the need for high-quality personnel, especially for senior positions in the first 6 months of 2014, increased 23% over the same period last year. Especially in June, the number rose 38% against 1 year ago. However, the supply slightly decreased and is predicted to rise again in the second half. According to the recruitment website, employers now are in need of experienced managers, such as team leaders, supervisors, directors, and the like. Meanwhile, fresh graduates and inexperienced candidates are less favored by employers. The demand is especially high in sales, marketing, and information technology sectors, are the highest-ranking ones. In Vietnam's work accounting jobs, the competitive rate is 1:98. The highest competitive employment rate is 1:67 in Dong Nai, followed by Da Nang with 1:58. Meanwhile, in Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City, the ratio is 1:52. Localities in the Mekong Delta are striving to reach a total traffic output of 1.6 million tons and a revenue of $2.5 to $3 billion from export by 2020, under a plan for the traffic's production and consumption in the region. The Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development requires it to expand the total farming area to more than 7,200 hectares of the VietGAP standards by 2020. The region is now home to 94 traffic processing factories with a total capacity of nearly 1 million tons per year. During the 2014-2015 period, local factories will focus on renovating their production chains in order to improve the quality of products and reduce production cost. In the 2016-2020 period, they will apply new technology to the production of traffic by products to meet the demands of both domestic and foreign consumers. And now the program will continue with local gold prices, forex, and stock markets. Well, that's the end of this edition of Into Vietnam. Thank you so much for your attention. We'll see you soon and goodbye for now.